Women often see the man they like and think, maybe I should go up to him. Maybe I should make the first move. But that would be a profoundly bad idea, and I'm going to explain why and what you should do instead. You should not make the first move because not making the first move is your best defense against weak men. You see, by not making the first move, you force men to make the first move, which weeds out all of the weak men who are too afraid to speak to women. And yes, men who don't make the first move are weak men, because if a man can't do something as simple as walk up to a woman and start a conversation, then he is a weak man. A man who can't make the first move is a man who does not go after what he wants. A man who can't make the first move is a man of low self-esteem. A man who can't make the first move is a weak man. And this is the type of men that women shouldn't date. And in order for women to easily filter out these men, women must not make the first move. But a lot of you women fail to do this, and this is often the reason why you end up dating weak men. The women who make the first move and fail to use the most fundamental test there is to test a man's masculinity and self-esteem, which is to force the man to make the first move, almost always end up with weak men. If you want a man who is masculine, a man who will lead you, a man who will protect you, you are not going to find that man in someone who is too afraid to speak to women. And all men know this. All men know that there is a vast difference in the type of man who endures crippling fear at the thought of going up to a woman versus the type of man who can effortlessly approach women. And all men know deep down that the only reason a man would want a woman to make the first move would be because he is too afraid to do it himself, because he is weak. If you want a strong masculine man, you must never make the first move. But this leaves the question. If you like a man, but he's not making the first move, what should you do? Simple. You should make yourself approachable, show him hints, make frequent eye contact, go near him, but never cross the boundary of initiating the conversation. That must always be left to the man. And this is because if the man doesn't make the first move, then either he is a weak man who doesn't go after what he wants, in which you shouldn't want him, or he doesn't like you, in which you wanting him is irrelevant. Either way, it doesn't make sense for you to make the first move. Women must never make the first move. However, there is one exception. There is one exception to the idea that women should never make the first move. The only time women should ever make the first move is if you are in a situation in which it would be dangerous or inappropriate for the man to make the first move. For example, if you are working as a waitress, some men will not make the first move because they don't want you to potentially feel uncomfortable at your job, in which it would be okay for you to make the first move. If you work at the local store, some men will not make the first move because they don't want to risk being banned from the store because of a potential harassment claim, in which it would be okay for you to make the first move. Or when it comes to the office, many men may refuse to make the first move because they don't want to risk losing their job, in which it would be okay for you to make the first move. The only time a woman should ever make the first move is if she is in a situation in which it would be dangerous or potentially inappropriate for the man to make the first move. But aside from those situations, it is extremely important that women do not make the first move, because forcing men to make the first move is an extremely important filtering mechanism that filters out weak men.